By the end of this video, you're going to know 12 ways to raise your frequency and increase your vibration fast. Let's get started. Hey friends, Tamie M, Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And if you're back, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. So let's talk about 12 ways to raise your frequency and increase your vibration fast. Now, the truth is there's infinite ways, there's countless ways to affect your calibration, your vibration, your frequency positively, right? To raise your frequency and calibrate, vibrate at a higher level. There's untold number of ways to do this, but I'm going to share with you 12 of my favorite, easy to use, easy to do, and in my opinion, most powerful. Number one, meditation. Kind of a no-brainer for many of you, I'm sure. Easy to do and easy not to do, but truly, if you made this one change, even 5 minutes a day of getting still, slowing down what we call the monkey mind, right? Coming into your body, making connection with your core, the core of who you are, making conscious contact with yourself and a higher power, as they would say in 12-step, a higher power of your understanding. Whatever that is for you, divine benevolent forces, a force for good, truth, unconditional light, love, wisdom, right? So that connection to your higher self and to a higher power of your understanding is one of the immediate benefits of getting into a regular, preferably daily meditation practice. Even if it's a 5-minute a day ritual that you start with and then build from there. You know, the ideal when I'm on my beam and doing all the things is 20 to 30 minutes morning and evening. Now, listen, we all fall off our beam. We're not meant to be perfect little soldiers on this journey, but starting with 5 minutes a day and working your way up with a goal of getting to 2 times a day, getting still, slowing down the monkey mind. Few things will increase your vibration, raise your frequency, and increase your vibration faster and more powerfully than this. Immediately, it calms our nervous system down if we can manage to get still. And initially this might be difficult, which is why guided meditations can be so powerful and helpful. Some of my all-time favorites are Wayne Dyer's Meditations for Manifesting. You can find them on YouTube. There's all kinds of guided meditations available for free on YouTube. So starting off with a practice in the morning and building from there calms your nervous system down, helps you make conscious contact with, again, your higher self, a higher power, divine benevolent forces, gives you perspective, and takes you out of that critter brain, that fight, flight, or freeze brain, and right into the frontal lobe, which is the creative center of our brain, right? So we calm right down, we gain perspective, and as we do so, our frequency rises, our calibration, our vibration increases to lighter and lighter, higher and higher frequencies. Meditation's super powerful. Number 2, exercise. Again, few things will raise your frequency and increase your vibration faster than exercise, than getting the body moving. Even a brisk walk of 5,000 steps, 10,000 steps, ideally. Personally, I find that's the magic number to really feel the shift in terms of eliminating stress, shaking off the day, shifting my energy. In particular, if you can get out in a lovely setting where you're looking at pretty green things, breathing fresh air, and enjoying yourself. Plug in some good music or a good audiobook or anything that you like to listen to, and off you go. If you're able, ready, and willing to crank it up a notch and do more than just a brisk walk, again, few things are going to raise your frequency, increase your frequency, and raise your vibration faster than exercise. Number 3, spending time in nature as much as possible. There's no question that everything is energy, including us. And when we're caught up in the kill grid of the city landscape, the calibration is much lower. And we, as human beings, are affected by that lower vibration, that lower frequency, that lower calibration. If you're like me, highly empathic, you'll actually feel the difference as you are going into a city. I remember noticing that for the first time 30 odd years ago, growing up in the suburbs, and when I would be driving into the city, it was almost like, and probably not even almost, exactly like I was driving into a very different morphic field. Certainly I was, right? And being a sensitive, I could feel the difference. I could feel the hostility. I could feel the chaos. I could feel the density, as compared to going in the other direction, heading up to the mountains, heading into the forest, heading out to go camping or to hang out at the lake, at the cabin, the cottage, what have you. You can feel the difference, especially if you're highly empathic, especially if you're a sensitive, right? And that's because the frequency is strikingly different, and it has an effect on our frequency. So spending time in nature, even if that means just getting to your neighborhood park, taking your shoes off. Those of us who are in Canada aren't going to be doing this in the wintertime, obviously, but when you're able, during the seasons when you're able, and if you're fortunate enough to live somewhere where that's all year long, perfect. Taking your shoes off, barefoot on the ground, on the grass, on the earth, on the sand, whatever it is, 15 minutes of that, what that does to your entire energetic force field is magic, pure magic. Just getting out to a park can be the big difference maker. Like I said earlier, breathing fresh air, looking at pretty green things, right? Calms the nervous system down, gets us out of critter brain and into a calmer, clearer, more creative perspective, gives us perspective, right? Gives us a completely different vantage point. Breathing the oxygen, breathing the fresh air, getting out in the sunshine, getting vitamin D, having a glimpse of wildlife, other animals, right? The whole thing shifts us into a higher frequency. So the more you can give yourself a gift, even if it's a question of getting to a neighborhood park, do it, give yourself the gift. Few things will raise your frequency faster than getting out into nature and making that a habit in so much as it's possible, and adding to that while you are there, earthing, grounding, barefoot on the earth. Shift you powerfully, very quickly. Number 4, time with animals. Cats, dogs, all pets, farm animals, but especially, in my opinion and experience, horses. Man, do they calibrate at a high frequency, a super high frequency. Even just mucking stalls and brushing them down can be enough to shift you energetically in a really powerful way. So if you're fortunate enough to be able to hang out with, expose yourself to horses on a regular basis, never mind actually ride on a regular basis, do so. You're getting exercise, you're getting time in nature, you're getting time with animals. What a powerful combination. What an amazing combination. If you can't actually ride on a regular basis or a daily basis, some people are fortunate enough to be able to do that. If you can't actually ride that frequently, just find a way, take a drive out to the country and gaze at these beautiful, magnificent animals. That's all it takes to shift you, to raise your frequency, to increase your vibration significantly. Number 5, consciously choosing your thoughts will absolutely raise your frequency and increase your vibration. Moving your thoughts in a higher vibrational direction is a choice, believe it or not. It's something that you can absolutely choose to do. Daily affirmations is a really good place to start. Reciting positive affirmations about yourself and your reality over and over and over and over again is one way that we can rewire our subconscious mind. Uber powerful if we combine it with mirror work. In particular, within the first 15 minutes of waking, that's when we have the easiest access to our subconscious mind, our subconscious programming. So if you can look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, while saying your daily affirmations within the first 15 minutes of waking up, super powerful. Another thing that's really powerful in terms of consciously choosing your thoughts is practicing gratitude. And it is a practice. No matter what's going on in your life, you can find something to be grateful for if you're willing to look. Rhonda Byrne, the author and creator of the book, the movie, The Secret, also wrote a book called The Magic, 28 Days of Gratitude, 28 days of gratitude practices. Amazing, powerful, life-changing book. If you would dive into that book and run those practices daily for 28 days, you will never be the same again. You develop the gratitude muscle as a result of going through a book like that and choosing to be grateful, and choosing gratitude on a daily basis, no matter what's going on in your life, becomes much easier to do. And the thing about this, friends, is what we focus on expands. So it's not that we want to live in denial and pretend that a problem doesn't exist. That's not what this is about, right? We always want to acknowledge the problem. But if all we do is stare at the problem and never pay attention to what we can be grateful for, never pay attention to what the solutions might be, the problem just expands, right? While acknowledging whatever the truth is that you might be grappling with on any given day, or at, in this particular phase of your life, right? We go through phases, right? Whatever the truth might be, while acknowledging the truth, shifting your focus to solutions, and further shifting your focus to what you can be grateful for. Yes, I'm going to deal with the problem. Yes, I'm going to tell myself the truth about what's going on in my life. But simultaneous to that, I'm also going to choose my thoughts consciously. I'm going to affirm what it is that I want to call into my reality. I'm going to affirm what it is, who it is that I want to become, what it is that I want to create for myself. And I'm going to use the practice of gratitude, which is literally like pouring gasoline on the fire of the conscious co-creation process. So consciously choosing your thoughts on a daily basis will absolutely shift your frequency, raise your frequency, and increase your vibration. Powerful stuff. Number 6, discharging negative feelings. Here's the thing. We are human beings on planet Earth at the time of this recording in 2021. There's a lot going on. Even those of us who find ourselves in the best of circumstances still are grappling with a lot. Certainly some more than others, but we're all human beings having this experience. Expecting ourselves to never have a negative feeling, to never calibrate at a lower frequency than what we would prefer based on what is triggering us from the external reality, and there's a lot that's triggering a lot of us. It's just unrealistic and not very kind. as human beings, we are sometimes gonna feel the feels. We are sometimes going to have our subconscious wounding and trauma triggered. We are sometimes going to find ourselves in a situation that's gonna bring up our stuff, or for whatever reason cause us to feel feelings that we would rather not be feeling, and that certainly don't necessarily add to the raising of our frequency, the increasing of our vibration, right? Anger calibrates down here on the scale of consciousness, love here, joy here, peace here, enlightenment here. So needless to say, right? Now, anger might calibrate here, but there's a whole bunch of stuff even beneath anger. Anger is not the worst thing you could be feeling. And sometimes actually it's a very healthy, legitimate response and reaction to the nonsense that might be coming at us or going on around us, right? So we have to love ourselves enough and to give ourselves permission to feel whatever it is that we might be feeling. But we also have a responsibility to deal with those feelings. Pretending they're not there, denying them, ignoring them, suppressing them, repressing them, self-medicating them, running from them, all of that stuff, it does not work. Does not work. Those things are going to follow you no matter where you go, and they will get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So we have to have the courage and the strength to stand still and feel the truth, the brunt of, the full force of whatever it is we might be feeling in the moment, and deal with it. So discharging negative emotion is a very healthy thing. Deal with whatever it is that's coming up inside of you, and some ways that you can discharge the negative feelings in order to shift your frequency. One example would be EFT, the emotional freedom technique. It's a technique, I'm a practitioner, it's a technique that I use with my clients, and it'll shift you super, super quickly. Another is the baseball bat exercise. If you're grappling with a lot of pent-up anger, frustration, and rage, simply taking, I recommend, a child's baseball bat. When I was a kid, we had these great big, huge, orange, hollow plastic baseball bats, something along those lines, you know, a plastic baseball bat, and releasing that negative emotion that you're feeling by pummeling a pillow with a plastic baseball bat can be a great way to just discharge negative emotion, negative feelings, right? Don't judge yourself for feeling what you feel. That doesn't help. You're entitled to feel what you feel. Feelings are not facts, but if you feel it, it's true for you. So you want to handle it in a way that it's not dragging you down and holding you back, right? So discharging the negative emotion, finding healthy ways to do that. Another one of my favorites is journaling. Get into your journal and let it rip. Let it out, right? Purge the negative emotion. Letting it go. Discharging it in whatever way you choose to. Going for a run, going for a brisk walk, having a good powwow with a safe other. Not just any other, but someone you know you can trust, who is safe, who is a safe place for you to come to express whatever it is that you need to express. Someone who can be a sounding board, who can be a source of wise counsel, who has the capacity and the empathy to hold space with you and keep your disclosures in confidence. Hold your disclosures in confidence, not someone who's going to use them down the track against you, right? So choosing safe others is a vital piece to this, but, you know, suffice to say, sharing your burden with a safe person is a really good way to discharge negative emotion. Again, whatever way you choose to do it, processing and discharging negative emotion is a vital piece to keeping your frequency high. You're gonna feel so-called negative feelings. You're a human being on the planet at this time. Kind of hard not to with all that we have going on around us collectively, never mind individually for some of you. Deal with whatever it is. Find healthy ways. Give yourself permission to feel what it is that you feel and deal with it. Process it. Purge it. Very, very important if you want to learn to consistently calibrate at higher and higher frequencies. Now comment below and let me know whether or not you've used any of these techniques. Do you use them regularly? Has it just been here and there? Do you notice a difference when you put any of the techniques that I've mentioned to this point into practice, in play in your life? Have they served you to this point? And also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there is a link in the description below where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. So if that's of interest to you, be sure to check out the description below the video. And again, there's a link there where you can apply to see if you qualify. Number 7, laughter, levity, and comedy. Lighten up. I know, easier said than done. Some of you are dealing with great big huge issues, life or death issues, very painful issues. And there's no question that much of what we are dealing with requires serious, sober attention. There's no question. But if we're dirt honest with ourselves, often what disturbs us is hardly worth being disturbed about, right? So it boils down to what I said earlier: consciously choosing our thoughts, consciously choosing what is going to get the dominant focus, the dominant amount of my time, energy, attention, and focus, right? The reality is we often take things personally that aren't personal, that have nothing to do with us. So I'm going to suggest we stop taking things personally. Again, I know easier said than done sometimes, and some things are deeply personal, but more often than not, it's not our stuff, no matter what they're doing or not doing or saying or not saying. And this doesn't apply to everybody. Some of you will come back in the comments and say, but I'm a single mom and he's doing or she's doing or, whatever, right? And I get it. A lot of the things are huge, painful, seemingly insurmountable. What I'm suggesting is that often, not always, but often, we could quite easily make the choice to have a lighter perspective. Make the choice to not take things so personally. Not everything has to be so heavy, so dramatic, so serious. So when you can choose levity, laughter, comedy, even if it means whatever the great big huge ugly scary awful horrible thing is, you're going to put that down for an evening and watch one comedy after another to get yourself in a lighter frame of mind, to shift your perspective, to laugh a little, to lighten the hell up, do it. Really good medicine, really good medicine. And as long as you're calibrating down here in the agony of it all, as opposed to up here where you've made the conscious choice to lighten up a little bit, it's a lot easier to find solutions from this place. It's a lot easier to respond versus react from this place. It's a lot easier to have a healthier perspective from this place than this place. So if you have the choice and the ability to lighten up, to choose levity, laughter, have a sense of humor, don't take yourself so seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself a little bit. Laugh at your shortcomings. We all have them. Laugh when you make a mistake, right? And this isn't about self-deprecation, but just lighten up. Everything so much better, and your frequency, big difference maker. Big difference maker. Number 8, avoid negative people and toxic environments in so much as you are able. And here's the thing, friends. We are adults now. We get to choose. More often than not, we are quite able. It's just a question of making the choice in terms of what's in favor of my well-being and my best interest, especially for those of us who are highly empathic, very sensitive. Walking into a toxic environment with negative, toxic people can literally take you out. It can take you easily 3 days just to recover from the hangover. Is it worth it? in my opinion, that's a pretty heavy price to pay. And this isn't about being judgmental and all judgy. This is about wise discernment and loving yourself enough to take care of you, to do what you need to do, to take care of you, take radical responsibility for your own quality of life and where you calibrate on a given day. Right? I personally am not willing to expose myself to that ilk of person or group of people and environment and then have to spend 3 days trying to get my frequency back up to where I'd rather it be. It's not worth the price that we pay. Every time I choose to turn a blind eye to overlook, to pretend, to deny, to lie to myself about someone else's character, in terms of, like, as an example, being addicted to toxic gossip, right? A full-blown toxic gossip, right? Every time I decide to ignore what I know to be true about an individual's lifestyle choices, self-absorption, mountains of unresolved issues they have zero interest or desire in ever looking at, or their active addiction, sex addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, active addiction. These are huge red flags, right? Every time I choose to turn a blind eye to that stuff, I pay a price. Every single time, without fail, I pay a price. And I'd be willing to bet, so do you. As Maya Angelou was famous for saying, when people show us who they are, believe them the first time. And that doesn't mean we have to hate them. And it certainly doesn't mean that we have to take their nonsense personally. And we don't even have to judge them. But if we want to reside consistently, predominantly at higher frequencies, higher levels, right? If we want to reside at that place more often than not, hanging out with negative people and in toxic environments is not the way to go. If you're an empath, it'll take you out. It's not worth the price. In addition, often these people, doesn't make them bad people, but we got to start telling ourselves the truth about what we're dealing with, right? What we're exposing ourselves to, right? Often these people will have so much going on in terms of negative ego, unconsciousness, unresolved wounding and trauma, unresolved issues, guaranteed at some point, whether you ever open your mouth or not, who you are, what you carry in terms of light, love, truth, whatever it is that you have going on, is going to, even if you aren't intending to, quite by accident, it can happen, happens all the time, shine a light on whatever inadequacies it is that they are carrying, that they have yet to face. Sooner or later, your light, your truth, your strength, your power as an empath is going to shine a light on that stuff. And we all know how that goes. Not very well, right? The next thing you know, you're being projected upon, you're being misunderstood, misrepresented, you're being smeared, all of the things are happening, right? Very, very wise if you want to calibrate at higher levels predominantly, if you want to raise your frequency and increase your vibration, it would be very wise to start taking a serious look, a serious inventory at who and what it is you are exposing yourself to on a regular basis in terms of people who are not even interested in calibrating at the higher levels, or maybe they pay lip service to it all, but it's not actually where they're at. You can see by virtue of their lifestyle choices, their addictions, their, all the things that they have going on, right? They might talk a good talk, but when it comes to actually living the life, actually walking their talk, it's a whole other story, right? So when you're regularly exposing yourself to this ilk of individual and this type of toxic environment, good idea to take a good inventory in terms of what it is that you are exposing yourself to, who it is that you're exposing yourself to, and what's the actual price that you pay. Is it worth it? At some point, we have to take radical responsibility for ourselves, our frequency, our choices, and make a decision. I'm not going there anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I have tried way too many times to be friends with people who don't have healthy, loving, sincere, genuine friendship to give. They just don't have the equipment. Not for real. Not playing in, a healthy way, right? If you want to do all the stuff down here, sure, right? But not healthy, high vibing, clean, actual loving, not codependent love, actual healthy love. Tried way too many times to have friendships with folks of that nature, and every time I do, it requires my turning a blind eye to all the things, and I pay a price. I don't do that anymore. It's not worth it. Avoid negative people and toxic environments. You'll be glad you did. Number 9, what you consume matters. For real. If you're all jacked up on wheat, sugar, caffeine, drinking regularly, filling your body with all manner of toxins and toxicity, eating processed foods, kind of hard to vibe real clean, real clear, real high, right? So do not underestimate the power of what you actually consume. If you want to affect your frequency, increase your vibration, raise your frequency and increase your vibration fast, shifting to a cleaner diet will speed up that process without question. So lots of preferably organic, like let's leave the pesticides and the poisons out, right? So preferably organic. Nothing is perfect on our planet anymore, not in 2021, but organic is certainly a better choice if you're able, right? So high water content food. Lots of fresh, lots of raw, lots of high water content food. Clean, pure water, right? Drinking lots of water, eating lots of fresh, raw, organic. Doing what you need to do. There's lots of ways to do it. Supplementation, fasting, cleanses, all the things. There's lots of ways to do it. But doing what you need to do to cleanse the toxins out of your system. Get that stuff out of your system and shift your frequency. These are things that make a big difference. What you consume in terms of the mainstream media, watching Netflix, how much violence are you exposed to? How much perception manipulation are you exposed to? How much deception are you exposed to? All of these things matter. What you consume matters. Number 10, tell yourself the truth. And where appropriate, others. It's not always appropriate to tell others all of everything, right? That's not always appropriate. You're entitled to your privacy. Not everybody needs to know everything. So again, tell yourself the truth. That's a rule, a law that I live by. Okay, an internal decision I made a long time ago. I gotta stop lying to myself, and I need to start telling myself the truth. And it's something, words that I live by today. And again, where appropriate, others. The truth has a calibration, a frequency 1,000 times more powerful than a lie. That is true. So no matter what lies and deception might be going on out there, sooner or later, the truth wins. Sooner or later, the truth rises to the surface. You can count on that, right? Those of you who think that they're getting away with the lies and the deception and the smear campaigns, I'm sorry, but sooner or later, all truth is known. So make a decision today. If you want to calibrate at the higher levels predominantly, consistently, regularly, I am going to stand in the truth in my own life. That doesn't mean that everything is everybody else's business all the time. More often than not, it's not. But where I am concerned, Taking radical responsibility for myself and my life, I am always going to tell myself the truth, even when the truth is what I'd rather not know. Even when the truth is uncomfortable. Even when the truth is painful. And sometimes the truth is excruciatingly painful. Tell yourself the truth and where appropriate others the truth, and you will shift your frequency very quickly. Very quickly. Our world needs more truth seekers and truth speakers, without question. And the reality is, what I know for sure from personal experience, I'm going to tell you, it isn't going to win you any popularity contests. That's what's true. Did you come here to this planet to win popularity contests? Or did you come here to walk out the truth of your soul calling, your soul mission, the truth of who you are at your core? Big difference. Selling your soul to the devil of let's just go along to get along, and right, and all that dysfunctional thinking and behaving that keeps sick systems in play generation after generation after generation after generation. Sick stuff, right? We need truth seekers, truth speakers, people who calibrate from a place of truth, not denial, not manipulation, not deception, not a load of bullshit, not, well, you know, we'll just leave these great big huge chunks of the truth out of the equation. We got lots of that going on this planet on many levels. That's not what we need. We need people who are brave enough to tell themselves, and where appropriate, others, the truth. In the end, the truth wins. Every time. Guaranteed. One of my all-time favorite quotes from A Course in Miracles is, "He, she, who is certain of the outcome can afford to wait, and wait without anxiety." And I know, without anxiety, the truth wins. Count on it. Number 11, daily spiritual hygiene. Make this a practice. If you want to raise your frequency and increase your vibration fast, you cannot leave this out of the equation. Daily spiritual hygiene means making conscious contact with a higher power of your understanding through things like prayer, meditation, just having a conversation, asking for guidance, asking for help. I'm ready, I'm available, show me how, right? We live in a free will universe, so we have to put our hand up and ask if we actually want the miracles to come forth in our own lives and collectively. It also looks like journaling, getting clear about that which you want to call forth in your reality, individually and for the collective. It looks like learning how to cleanse your energetic force field, soaking in salt, smudging, walking in nature, getting the exercise, doing the meditation, right? Those are some things super, super powerful. Learning to work with crystals, singing bowls, using essential oils. These are all things that can be part of your daily spiritual hygiene. For many of you, it's going to be time in the Word, reading scripture. For others, it's going to be time in A Course in Miracles, reading that book. Whatever it is for you, having a daily practice, spiritual hygiene, learning to take care of this aspect of your life, nurture this aspect of your life, cultivate this aspect of your life, makes all the difference. Do you want to calibrate, vibrate here or here? A daily practice of spiritual hygiene is the thing that's going to make the big difference for you. Don't overlook this one. Don't leave it out. Number 12, cultivating the ability to hold space for others. Learning to bring presence to the power of this incredible present moment, whatever it is that you might be living in this present moment. Cultivating the ability to bring the power of presence to another individual or others, and holding space for them. Knowing how to do that in a non-judgmental, loving, compassionate way not only shifts your frequency, now you're positively affecting the frequency of others. And this is huge. Learning to become the detached, compassionate observer of whatever may be going on for you in the here and the now, and for others in the here and the now, and bringing the power of your presence and holding the space. Again, you're raising your own vibration, and you're assisting others in raising theirs too. These are powerful, many of them very simple, but powerful things that we can put into play on a daily basis to raise our frequency and increase our vibration consciously, deliberately, with intent. This, my friends, is, in my opinion, a big piece to the puzzle of how we navigate ourselves out of the mess that we find ourselves in currently, right here, right now on planet Earth. More individuals choosing moment by moment to do the things, to shift. Again, never about denial. This is not about denying the problem. Acknowledge the problem. Tell yourself the truth, always. But consciously making the choice to shift, to do what you need to do. Shift your frequency, raise your frequency, increase your vibration. The more of us that do this, collectively the consciousness raises. Collectively, we pull ourselves out of the mess, again, that we find ourselves in currently on planet Earth. Do not underestimate the power, the pure power of putting these practices in play in your own life to affect your own life positively, as well as making a positive contribution to what's going on our planet here and now today. My friends, I hope you got some value out of this today. If you liked what you heard, be sure to drop me a like and a comment. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And once again, if you're new to my channel, great big huge welcome. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. And once again, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there is a link in the description below where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. And as always, I will leave you with this. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Mwah. Much love. Bye for now.